Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So it's Monday, September 7th. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is the pour day when we do the basement. One project I want to knock out today though is up in here in these headers for the garage. I want to go ahead and put in some blocking. Basically all of them were toe-nailed into the king stud and the jack stud, which again, the king stud is now supported underneath of the concrete when we poured the apron, so that's pushing straight down on the concrete. The jack stud is obviously sitting on here, which is sitting on the sill, which is supported all the way down by a concrete pier basically. But they're basically just toe-nailed in kind of this way. What's giving it most of its support though, where it's pretty much not going to go anywhere, is up in there. That's a 2x12 running across there. So that 1.5 inches of 2x4, or I'm sorry, 2x12 that's right there is going from front to back, and that is what the 2x8s are actually sitting on. So that's where all of the main support is coming from. So that it's not like the top of that can split away, but I do want to put in some blocking again, especially in like these areas in both corners, because you can see light in there. Technically, I guess the bottoms of these could want to kick out since there's only like toe-nailed screws and nails coming in this way, this way, this way, and pretty much every way going in there. So I just want to give it more support, where if I put a block completely in there, that gap will close because that block will be attached to this 2x8 going this way, and then I can go ahead and nail and screw going this way into that blocking. And if I go ahead and do one every 24 inches on center, that header should be a lot more secure, where it's not going to want to kick or move or bend or pinch or anything like that. So we're going to knock out some of those, and we should be good structurally then up in here. Just something a little bit more that I want. But we'll go ahead and knock these out, and then we will see you guys tomorrow morning bright and early for the pour. So I am going to want to insulate this cavity, since if I put a board right there and I put a board on the other side, obviously I can't put insulation in because there's a board right there. So I am going to want to pack insulation up in there. So I think what I'm going to do right now is leave this one probably open and just go ahead and put one pretty much in line with this stud here, which will leave a little bit of a gap going up into there, but it's, like I said, it's only keeping the boards from going side to side and keeping them together. So if I pack in insulation in there, know that I'm getting all the way to this side, because I'll see it stick out just a little bit because there's about a 2-inch gap or so in there. I can just pack it in, and then once it's all done, if I want to, I can put in one more there at a later time, and then pack in insulation into this cavity, this one, etc. So I'll leave that open, and I'll just knock out, it looks like 10 more, and then we should be done. But dawned on me that I still need a couple more blocking up in here. I did remove these braces on the outside. There were 2 right here, because I've got this chain here pulling this wall back in, connected to this wall, so getting them a little bit straighter, and that's keeping a lot more support because it's up at the top pulling them in. So finish off that block, and then I've got enough 2x8s that I can finish out all the blocking in these bays right here, and then we should be done for the day. So just our luck, like always, we're pouring tomorrow. It's about 5, 6 o'clock at night, and
Some tornado sirens have already gone off. The rain has been 1,000 times worse than what we're seeing right now. Power's out. I got my generator hooked up and plugged in where the temporary service is going. So it's kind of nice to get the generator away from the house, because before we've had it running, we only had a 25-foot cord, and it's really loud next to the camper, but with it being about 125 feet away, we can't really hear it. So kind of spoke too soon, saying I'm gonna have to wait on a really, really good downpour to find out all the water. Well, we're seeing it now. So as you can see in here, it looks like we're pretty good. Right there, exactly what I thought. It's gonna come off the house in the garage, go into this area right there, and it's going where the concrete slab will go, down in behind my truck around that tree. So that's good, that's working. I don't know what the heck happened here, but I don't want to get in here too far, but right in there you can see where I had all of this dirt built up in a mound here off the house. Right from there to there, all that dirt's completely collapsed, and the water in this puddle here just seems to be going right down in there and probably shooting right down to the French drain. So kind of sucks that we're trying to pour tomorrow, because that sump pump isn't the strongest sump pump, and it's not the biggest, because it's only got a garden hose hooked up to it. Usually the sump pumps are attaching 2-inch PVC pipe, which of course would attach to that right there and be taken out. So I think they're a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and it is completely full. So we got to try and get all the water out of here now again, plus all the water that is going to be working with the French drain to get the water out of there before we can even try and get that water out of there. So I don't know how we're going to pour concrete with that much water still going to go in there. And it's supposed to rain till about 10 o'clock tonight. So that sump pump's probably going to be running for 12 hours as we're pouring at 10 in the morning. So everything else seems to be looking okay. Spot in here, I can go ahead and put a little bit more dirt. You can see a little river running right there, so it's getting down from there up. You can see right there, it's found a spot. It's going right down to the French drain, so that's gonna have to be pushed down a little bit more, like in here. A little bit more soil buildup, so it doesn't run in there, so it runs out to the back here. And then everything back in here doesn't look too bad, but since there's no soil over top of it, that water's just going straight down through the stone and right down into the French drain. So we know a few spots that need fixed, need brought back up to grade and to get a little bit better of a taper. And again, fingers crossed, sump pump will run all night or for the next 12 hours. And we'll be able to get the French drain empty, which in turn will help get the basement empty. Hey everybody, so it's the next morning. We've already started. I've got the GoPro set up so you'll be able to see everything that's happened. Basically it rained all night long, I think till about 4 a.m. So we got kind of screwed on that. The pump ran all night long. Unfortunately, the pump is a decent size. I think it's only maybe 1,250 gallons a minute or an hour, but it's got a garden hose on it, so it's not hitting 1,250 gallons an hour. If I used the 2-inch line on it, then that probably would have worked out. But we got the French drain basically cleared out, which then after the French drain's cleared out, you got all the water on top of the foam, and there's even water under the foam where it kind of leaked down the walls and got behind the vapor barrier, which then got up and underneath. Some of the foam is actually like sitting on a pool. Luckily, when we're pushing the concrete, it's pushing all the water. I was brooming it towards the sump pump, and as we're walking on the foam, it's kind of sloshing it like this and actually pushing it down into the sump pump. So it's working right now. I think we're gonna be fine, but it just sucks that once again, we're trying to do something and Mother Nature kind of has to intervene. So we're doing good. We just got finished with 21 yards. Apparently there must be a few low spots because I calculated exactly 22.2 yards that would be needed, and we're about 5 short of the 21, so about 4.7 yards off. I don't know why, it just always seems to be that way, that you have to order more. I don't know if they ever come exactly as they're supposed to, but it is what it is. So we're waiting on that third truck with 5 yards to show up, and then I'll take you guys down into the hole, show you guys how they're gonna finish the rest of it, and we should be good for the day. Luckily, there's no bad weather on the way, so for the first time, we're actually doing something on the day that will actually have a beautiful one. So we'll see you guys back in a little bit. All right, so we just finished the floor. I unfortunately had to run to the bank because the spare guys, they want cash. Randall's okay with a check, but that extra 5 yards got put in. Pumper truck and everything's out of here. Right now we're just letting it starting to harden before we get in there and starting to power trowel. But so far it went good. We got exactly what we needed, minus I needed to buy a little bit more concrete. Like I said, it was around 4 yards short. Just must be in some spots it wasn't exactly 4 inches, some spots maybe even 4 or 5 6 inches thick, so that's not a bad thing. Get the concrete floor a little bit harder, but we'll just check back in a little bit when we start power troweling, and should be good to go from here. All right, welcome back. We just finished up. It's 7 o'clock. They just headed out. This is the first time I think we've actually done something where everything went fine. In the morning, it was a little scary. There was a absolute ton of water down on top of the foam. The scary part was there was a ton of water under the foam. All of that water that got down the walls, behind the vapor barrier, and then up and under the foam was hard to get out of, because to get it out of the foam or from under it, you're basically just waiting on gravity to take all that water to go through the sand, through the stone, and make its way over to the sump pump, which is not easy. Luckily, when I was going and getting the guys cash before they left, that last 5 yards when it got poured, sorry, I didn't hit the GoPro when they were doing it here by themselves with me not being here. the water that was still under some of the foam as they were pushing the concrete down, then standing on it, etc., the foam was kind of acting like a wave, and water was getting pushed from under the foam and on top of the foam, and they were pushing it all towards the sump pump. So it was going down into the sump pump from above and up and under the foam, and then up and down into the sump pump, and they got it all out. So thankfully I don't have to worry about now a bunch of water leaving down in the sand and then the concrete cracking, because it's now got like a big void. So we still got to remove the vapor barrier here along the edges, vapor barrier on all of the piers here, just to see how it looks. But obviously you can see the difference between wet and dry. Hopefully in the next week it'll dry up and get ready for us to get some ladders in here so we can start hanging all of the LVLs that we got back in the garage, sitting here ready to go. Saturday, it looks like my buddy Rob, he'll bring a ladder, kind of like one of these little giant types that extend easily and unfold. And then 2 people can kind of be on one end of an LVL, one end of an LVL. We can pick them up. They're going to have to look for the lines that I've got drawn down here, which is the bottom of 14 inches. As you remember, a long time ago when I set up my laser level here and I shot that image of the nighttime where the laser was casting a line all the way around here, I know exactly where 14 inches down from that corner over there is going to be. So the marks are already on there. They just need to hold their marks, and then someone can just start shooting in bolts in here, and by the time you get 1 or 2 bolts in there, it'll be fine, since those bolts can easily hold up 114 pounds. 2 of them would be fine. So we're gonna wrap this video up here. Again, thankfully today went good. First time that it did. Another project I am happy to say is complete. And please like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. We'll be back at it, I think, probably on Friday. That's when Adam gets back from vacation. He can bring me in a bunch of limestone so we can start putting in limestone here, and then I can actually start driving into the garage finally. But we will see you all later. Don't forget to turn the bell on so you're updated on when we get a new video posted. We're doing great. Again, I thank you guys so much. Just looking back at it real quick, it took 8.5 weeks to hit 100 people. It took 3.5 weeks to hit 200. And I think it's been 5 or 6 days and we're almost at 300. So, I mean, we're progressing very fastly, and it is all thanks to you guys. I appreciate it so much. We will see you guys next time.